Oh, I know this is random, but Africans and black people are two different type of people. Like, two different type of people. The way Africans moves and us black Americans move, different, bro. Like, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. But black people and Africans, different. I don't know why people be trying to bunch the black Americans with the black Africans. With the Africans. But it's like, no. Africans over here, black Americans over here. We do, integrate and shit like that. But it's like, at the end of the day, y'all got different morals from us black Americans. And we're just two different type of people. And that's okay. But we are not the same at all.
Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm your host Wamara. In today's video, we'll try to define the meaning of being a black American as well as the meaning of being an African American in the United States of America. It is worth noting that sometime back in history, these two terms were used interchangeably, but over time they've evolved to possess different meanings depending on how each of these two groups identify themselves. So kindly sit back, relax, take a cup of coffee, and enjoy as we delve into the various clips that try to explain these two terms.
You can clearly see the difference between the Americans and the Africans. All five of those women were absolutely beautiful. Let's start there. Now, you can clearly see the difference between the Americans and the Africans, okay? This isn't one of those posts where, oh, Americans this, black Americans this, African. No, that's not. No. It's clear to see that we're not the same, and that's okay, okay? It's clear. Online discussions of, oh, Africans do look like African Americans. African Americans look like Africans. No, the fuck we don't. We don't. We're not even the same ethnicity. We're not. As clear as day. You saw the two black women. When I say black, I'm talking about the black American women. And then you've seen the three Africans. Clearly all different phenotypes. But the American women stood out the most because they look like I do. Okay? There's a clear difference in our DNA, in our ethnicity, and that's okay. It's up to you, the rest of the Africans, to just accept that we're not the same and it's fine. Are we part of the same group as being black people? Yes, 100%. But a Japanese is not the same as a fucking Chinese or a Taiwanese or a Cambodian or a Filipino. They're all Asian, but they ain't the same. Ask them. So why is it that when black Americans make that separation and say, no, we all black, but I'm American, you're African, or Gambian, or Zimbabwean, or whatever. Why is it a problem when we do it?
The whole thing behind, oh, I'm not African American, I'm black American. It sounds a whole lot like, me no black, me Dominican, me no black. See, I have the Spanish, me speak Espanol, and me no black, me Dominican. It's the same thing. But y'all ain't ready to hear that. And it's not really the statement itself. If you want to call yourself black American, then fine. But there's people who literally get extremely heated and enraged by the use of African American as if we haven't been using this for the past century. It's part of our basic vocabulary. Somebody got on my case about that the other day. I'm just like, bro, my bad. I don't have the newest dictionary every single freaking year. And it's the denial of African genetics that freaking blows me away. Like, oh, somehow your genetics didn't allow you to end up looking like every single other Native American here, but you're somehow Native. That doesn't make sense. And this has been going on for years, but people who are younger only started getting on this tip when Rakai said it. I'm just saying. Genetics don't lie. Ancestry DNA don't lie. Ball don't lie. When you put that DNA in and that mug comes back South Sahara Africa, West Africa, that's it, cuz. That's where your genes came from. I mean, why are we mad at the fact that we just want to deny that so hard. I don't get that. That doesn't make sense. There was this one girl, even in the comments, she said, literally, go get your DNA tested. You will find out the same thing. You look darn near the same as me. The other commenter in response goes, oh no, I trust my great grandma that told me that we were just nothing but Native Americans. Person was blacker than all outside. Okay. Okay, buddy. Okay.
Okay, so I want to talk about this whole Black America versus Africans thing that's going on. And I'm coming from a place where I consider myself Black American. I was actually born in Manhattan, New York, native New Yorker, graduated from New York high schools. I think I have a little bit of background to say this. I've also been to Africa 3 times. As far back as 1992, I took a group of people from my college to Senegal because I went to Hunter College in New York City, and they used to pay the white students take care of their trips. They wanted to go to Israel and Sweden to cover stories. So I said, hey, the black kids, we want to go to Africa and we want you guys to pay for it. So I took about 20 people to Dakar, Senegal in 1992, 1993. I've been to Ghana twice with groups and what have you. And this is what I want to say. Number one, if you're an immigrant in America, I don't care where you're from, and you come and you disrespect Black Americans, you're wrong. Because I can't move to Jamaica and stay as long as I want. If I come to Bermuda, I get a job, and a Bermudian needs that job, they're going to fire me from that job and give it to the native. So in America, immigrants can come, take the jobs of Black Americans. They get loans, they get all types of stuff. And I think that's really made them kind of conceited and arrogant, as if Black Americans, people like Harlem Congressman Adam Clayton Powell, did not fight to get Black immigrants into the States. You see, once upon a time, America was letting in so many European immigrants that Black leaders were like, hey, wait a minute. You got to let in people from the Caribbean. You got to let in people from Africa. And they fought hard for that in the 60s and the civil rights era and etc. So for Africans or people from the Caribbean to come to America and talk about Black Americans are lazy, we work harder. Like, I've been telling them for years, y'all need to stop that, because once Black America turns their back on you, once we turn our back on them, you're going to see that it was not white America that welcomed you. You think that white Americans are different from the Europeans that colonized the islands and native Africa. You're going to find out the hard way. So now here we are getting ready to boycott African braiding shops. I've gone to nail shops, primarily in Prince George's County, and they're so empty, and the women are saying to me, oh my God, you know, everybody's doing their own nails, press-on nails. It's been so slow here. Yeah, because Black Americans are tired of the disrespect. And y'all need to understand that. And what y'all need to do right now is just be quiet. Humble yourselves. Black Americans have been fighting for reparations for at least 30 or 40 years. It's not new. And here y'all come interjecting yourselves into the conversation about reparations, which is none of your business. None of your business. I don't care if you're Haitian, Jamaican, from St. Kitts, St. wherever, okay? Nigeria, Sierra Leone. Mind your business. Be grateful that you are allowed to come to America. Then on another note, I want to tell my Black Americans this, right? And this is from me traveling over to Africa these couple of times and me sitting actually in embassy offices. Number one, the people who are even allowed to immigrate to America from Africa are already meek and humble. It takes them a long time to even get an interview at our embassies to even come. And they have to come in there and they have to be very docile. They have to believe in white Jesus. And those are the ones that get in. Those are the ones that they allow visas to come over here because they know they're going to be quiet. They're not going to unite with Black Americans. Nobody is sitting at the embassy offices, some of which are filled with Black Americans interviewing them, are going to say to them, stay away from black Americans when you get there. No, that's the Africans feeling like that. The ones who actually leave the continent to come here, which are very few, the people at home in Africa consider them as sellouts. I believe that they allow these sellouts, if you will, to come here so we never go back to Africa, that we think that these Africans that are here are the representatives who are on the continent, where in fact, when you go to Africa, I felt like when we used to go down south as kids and everybody welcomed you to the cookout, and that's how black Americans are treated. So the ones that are here are not even the representatives of the Africans that are here. But okay, but bottom line is this. The Africans that are here, you need to be quiet. You need to humble yourselves. You need to stop arguing with black Americans, because at the end of the day, we are American. This is where we are. This is our land. Our forefathers built this land for everyone else to enjoy. And so you don't get to come over to America and say that we're lazy. Like, black Americans have been working for free for 400 years. It's like nobody's lazy. We're tired. So humble yourself. I hate the division. I really do. But I do get how foundational black Americans are pissed off, because it's like the disrespect is too rampant. So now you're getting ready to get hit in your pockets, and you're getting ready to understand that President Trump don't want you here, Congress don't want you here, and things are going to change. And that's unfortunate that you guys got to learn the hard way. And that's what it is.
So the third issue with calling ourselves African American is that the very term itself takes credit away from black Americans and outsources credit to a continent that we didn't come from and that we've never been to. Now, we have so many inventions, so many things that we've created. We've created all the music genres. We've created so much fashion, so much cooking. Like I said, so much modern day technology we use today was created by black Americans. But yet when we talk about our achievements, we put the word African in front of it. Hold the fuck up. This ain't got shit to do with Africa. They didn't create this shit. They didn't build this shit. So why are we outsourcing? The very word itself is outsourcing and giving credit to a group of people who didn't do what the fuck we did. That's problematic in and of itself.
Africans do not like black Americans. So this is a fact.
No, it's an opinion, and a very asinine one at that. Because Africa is a continent with 54 countries and over 1.2 billion people. A statement such as Africans don't like African Americans is a very ludicrous statement, because one, is perpetuating this narrative that there is beef and animosity between Africans and African Americans. And two, what that is doing is it's generalizing an entire continent based off of the actions of a couple of African hairdressers who live in America. And this is coming from someone who has traveled to 4 out of 54 of the African countries. Okay, so I went to Tanzania and I was treated like royalty. People were bowing at my feet. I felt like I was some type of long lost queen who had finally returned to the land. Let's talk about Ghana. Ghana was one of the most beautiful countries that I ever visited. I had a family who opened up their home to me. They were feeding me 3 times a day. We were living by the beach. They were doing so much to just make me feel welcomed and loved. So this is for all of my African American people. Go to Africa. Go to the different countries that are there. Learn some of the languages, learn some of the cultures there, because this is the thing. There are more similarities than differences between Africans and African Americans. And we need to kill this narrative. We need to break the plane and start the conversation so that we can get to know each other and enjoy the beautiful continent that we call the motherland, Africa, Azania. Okay? Peace and blessings, y'all.
I know I'll be going back and forth with the Africans on here, but I don't have no problem with Africans in my real life. I didn't have a problem with Africans online until the whole Essence Fest Juneteenth situation popped off, because I got to represent for my people, and my people is Black American, foundational. But anyway, if you see me in real life, I'm cool. I ain't gonna trip if you don't trip. You know what I mean? Well, why have a conversation with this African man the other day, right? He been here for a few years, and he was telling me all about how Black Americans are different from Africans, right? So I was all ears. And he said that the main difference that he sees, now he wasn't trying shit on us because, I was looking because if he was going to start, he could probably see it all over my face. I was not about that. So, but anyway, he wasn't trying shit on us. He was saying, very complimentary, that Black Americans, the main difference that he sees with Black Americans from Africans is that Black Americans is always trying to look out for each other. And I was like, oh, okay, because I already know this. Black Americans, we are the culture. We are the community. We have a community, regardless of the narrative that Black people don't stick together. I don't know about everybody else, but Black Americans stick together. But he was telling me that Africans don't stick together. And his main example was he had to go to court for like traffic ticket or something minor, And when he got to court, when he was sitting in the courtroom, he was like, all these Black Americans kept coming up to him and was like, hey, brother, what you in here for? What you going in there for? And they was trying to give him tips. Like, don't say this. Don't say that. Yeah, this judge is cool. That judge ain't cool. And I know it's true. I know it's true because I do that same thing. I'm always trying to look out Black people. I'm always trying to look you out so that you don't get caught up. Because if I know something, I'm going to share it. Each one teach one. If we got information, we going to try to stop the man from getting you. That's just the way Black people are. We always show love. It's the Brooklyn way. But I just thought that was a funny little story. I got into a conversation with this African man, and he was very happy about the fact that Black Americans are always trying to look out other Black people and get them out of jams and situations. Just the other day, the sister waved my husband down to tell him that his taillight was out. She was like, yeah. She was like, your taillight out. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. Every Black person got a story about how another Black person tried to make sure that they were okay, that they prevented them from getting in trouble or helping them out with the information that they knew about how to navigate this system. Every Black person got a story like that because Black Americans are collective. We always try to look out for our people. And I was very happy to see that this African man had noticed that about our culture.
As I mentioned earlier, these two terms are often used interchangeably, especially in the past. However, these days, people have come up with nuanced definitions for each category. African Americans and Black Americans have distinguished definitions of late. However, traditionally, African Americans were considered people who were brought to the United States through slavery via the transatlantic slave trade. These are people who suffered racial injustices, they suffered slave trade, they suffered a lot of inhuman actions that were meted upon them by the colonizers and the Westerners who took them and brought them to the United States. However, over time, and due to various historical events, the immigration rates of people from all over the world, including Africa, Asia, and Europe into the United States have really increased. And over time, we've come to see generations, third, second, and fourth generations of people whose ancestors were brought into the United States as slaves. However, these people themselves have not experienced whatever their forefathers and their ancestors went through. Thus, by virtue of being born in the United States, some of them have lost their lineage from Africa. However, they have strong ancestries within Africa, but their lineage within Africa cannot be traced. This group of people are the people whom we call the Black Americans. To understand these definitions, we'll begin with African Americans. Africans to mean they have of African ancestry or origin, and American to identify with them being in America. Remember, they were taken as slaves from Africa into America. Thus, to identify with both of these worlds, they are called African Americans. Going to Black Americans, this is more general. As we've said, those of the second and third generation moving forward, whom ancestors were brought into the United States as slaves, but they themselves have no lineage in Africa or can't easily trace their lineage in Africa, are considered Black Americans because they are racially black and they've been born in America without traceable roots back in Africa. So from the clips we've observed, we see various African Americans and Black Americans give their views of how they identify themselves. Truthfully, we must also accept that you can identify by both. It's acceptable. But then, one key concern that these people are addressing is that there is a conflict between these two groups, depending on how each group identify themselves. I believe most immigrants currently who come from Africa into the United States they feel entitled to some of the things that the African Americans who came initially fought for. They feel entitled, and this is where the problems crop in. Black Americans who have been born in the country and have lived here their entire lives feel that their ancestors suffered a lot for Black people from Africa in this current age and era to come and claim a lot of freedom, yet not respecting them. It is only fair that they are respected because their forefathers and their ancestors really fought for freedom. They went through a lot of racial injustices, and their reward was to have a country where Black people can have proper education, Black people can have good healthcare, Black people can have justice with regard to the justice system, Black people can mingle with every other race just as the whites do. So it's truly sad when people from Africa come into the United States and demand to be treated equally, yet they despise Black Americans whose ancestors fought for these types of freedom. Additionally, from these clips, we understand that African Americans and Black Americans share a lot in common. I believe back in Africa, you'll find that Africa in general Africans are communal in nature. You'll find that in African communities, a few people own property, but then it's held in trust for the entire community. You'll find that when an individual in an African community wants to go and marry, especially men, you'll find that you might not have cattle. It's most African traditions that if you want to marry, you take cattle as bride price for the wife, to the wife's family. So you'd find that in Africa, when a young man wants to go and marry and they don't have enough cattle for the bride price, either their father, their uncles, or the community would provide this cattle for them. Meaning in Africa, in most African countries, wealth is communal. And on the other hand, from the videos we've just watched, we see that Black Americans are also communal people and they look after one another. They always have each other's interest at heart, trying to help one another whenever possible. These are good things, and these are things we share in common. Additionally, it is only prudent to note that people, especially Black Americans whom have traveled to Africa, really appreciate that Africans back in Africa, motherland, are very good people. And whenever you go to visit Africa, you are treated as one of them. You are never discriminated upon. In as much as we are people from the continent might not be as educated and learned as those from the United States, blacks from the United States, especially Black Americans, they try to make Black Americans who travel to the continent feel safe and welcome as much as possible. Family, I think we are one huge family as Black people. In as much as we want to identify ourselves with subcategories, but what is common between the Black Americans and African Americans is that they are all people of the Black race. They all have melanated skin, which is a very superior thing, especially for the human race. Remember, Africa is the cradle for humankind, meaning all life's origin began in Sahara. It began in Africa, and that's why every other day we realize that we have the most strong skin, melanin. It protects against various cancers. We have strong immunity. We have stronger spirituality as Black people. We have superior genes as Black people. And the moment we agree and embrace our Blackness as a people is the moment that we become stronger. Remember, there is strength in unity, and in division, people fall. So I just hope and pray that we can see our unity, we can build our unity in our commonality, which is our Black race. Family, I hope this discussion was fruitful, and I request that you kindly subscribe, like, and share for more videos like this. Till next time, thank you.